Steven here, and I'm with Adrian, and we're bringing you the update for July 1st. The
Yeah.
beta actually went out 2 weeks ago. Adrian, how did you feel about the beta release?
It was all right. We didn't do the early access yet. We're gonna release early access on Steam the next day or two. We might just do that tonight, actually, but because the Steam summer sale is going on, we decided not to release it on there. It doesn't affect anyone on the Kickstarter. It's just releasing it as an early access game just allows us to have it up on the Steam store, but it doesn't really affect people that already have the game at all. It's just a little bit of something we want to get done. It's more of a housekeeping thing, honestly. But yeah, so that in terms of the beta itself, there were, as expected, there were some optimization issues, and there was a little bit more than I expected, honestly. But we released an update, and I think everything's working much better now. For anyone that's having trouble, please update. And yeah, things seem to be going pretty well now. But yeah, it's coming along.
Well, 1 month ago, in our last update, we had a few announcements. We demoed the new water physics, which were really cool. We also did a demo of the 2 meditations that you built. And if anyone doesn't know what a meditation is, it's like a level or a mini game. And we are planning to make the ability, the tools for making those meditations available to the community. So, hopefully there will be lots of very cool levels and mini games for everyone to play. And this month, we have some cool stuff to add to that.
Yeah.
Shall we pop into the game?
Yeah, totally. So the first half of this month was spent releasing the beta and getting everything ready for that. And the second half of the month was spent on doing, actually the first three-fourths of the month were spent setting up the build and then releasing an update. So last week I switched back to working on Fire stuff.
Fire, sweet.
Yeah, so there's some Fire stuff going on in the game. It's still pretty early, but it's coming along. I'm hoping to wrap up the first pass of Fire very soon, so that we can get that out to people and start playing with it. And yeah, so
cool. Yeah, and so just to recap, so there is there's water. Sorry, there's earth magic. You can move rocks around. You can terraform. There's water magic with some really nice water physics. And the water evaporates and makes rain, and so it'll rain, and that will in turn create more flows of water. The water will create foliage that after a while that grows, and now there is some beginnings of fire.
Yes.
Oh, I left out the croakers. We have some croakers that run around and drink the water and come after you.
Yes. They're pretty fun. And you can see that it actually started raining here. So as we're waiting here, the simulation's running, and you can see a little guy down there running around. Or gal. I don't know. I don't know if we've had this conversation with Jason yet. But
yeah, he has not informed me about croaker reproductive
I don't know.
habits.
You never know. So yeah, I'll just jump in here actually. Yeah, so you can see that the water is flowing down. There's some springs. Still some graphical issues, like I've said in the past. We're not going to worry about too many things like this just now. Those are polished things that we'll get to once we feel good about the game and have everything in place. But you can see that water is flowing down from this spring. There's a spring there, and they're creating this nice cool pool over here. There's some little croakers hanging out also we can hang out with.
And what are the shadows that are moving across the land? Is that clouds or?
Yeah, some of it is from the clouds. The others are just from mountains as
Oh,
the
cool.
this stuff goes by. Um, but
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't know how much. I don't know if there's anything else exciting about water to show from last month. I don't think there was.
And are
Um,
those springs right there? Those are.
yeah,
Those,
so
I
these
see
are
something
pre-built.
splashing.
Yeah, these are springs that are built in, and there's a croaker in there drinking some water to
Oh,
stay
he's taking a
healthy.
bath.
Yeah, he's. Or they drink water to stay healthy. So if you throw stuff at them or knock them around, they actually lose health, which is bound to their water. Um, so
So they are a water-based creature, it would
yes,
seem.
yeah, they like to hang out with water. So I'm gonna start. So I did a little bit of water, but there wasn't too much interesting. No, I don't want that.
Oh, you need to restart your computer.
I will not do that. No.
But so actually to clarify, so croakers actually have one stat, like that really just like one thing, and it's their water amount.
Yeah,
That is their health.
just for now. Eventually, I would like for them to be a little bit more complicated than that. But for now, the simplest thing is just for them to have this water stat that just kind of defines everything about them. Sorry, I need to switch something over here. Um, and this guy's sleeping right now. If I get too close, he'll wake up and get upset. So I am going to start with some fire stuff. So this is really nothing complicated right now. But what I can do, I'm going to teleport away from this guy really quick. What I'm going to do
Yeah,
is...
can we look at the code a little bit more too?
Yeah,
I want
totally.
to see the code.
So all this is doing is it sets the orb speed to fast. It sets the
Oh, I forgot
temperature
you can set the
super
orb
hot.
color. That's awesome.
Yeah, so this one I'm
Yeah.
setting to red. And then when it hits something, it stops. And when I click activate, it turns it off. And remove heat, it's exactly the same when it's super cold. And I can set it. I just set the color to blue, so I can tell the difference between these two.
Yeah, cool.
So if I do one orb, it's very hard to see, but it's starting to fume a little bit. I'm going to speed it up by adding another one. You can see that it starts creating fire from placing these. If you look at our debug information, you can also see that the heat is going above 1, which is mostly debug information, but in heat
What
you
does
can
that
see
mean?
So in the first number says the region as a whole on the map. So this region over here for the equator, whatever you want to call it, is 0.94. And then
Okay.
0.93 is an interpolation between the large regions of the map. So if I add heat here, it sets much higher heat where I'm at. So you can start to see that it gets really high.
So it's more localized information isn't in the square brackets there.
Yes.
The fire looks awesome, by the way. That is really cool. Does the fire hurt you?
It doesn't right now. I'm guessing we'll just do that as a per game mode thing. It would be cool to have a way of keeping yourself cool and stuff like that. So I was thinking of doing something where you can just somehow like alter your player stats so you can cool yourself down or heat yourself up depending on what the conditions are.
So will that fire actually heat up the region and kind of speed up precipitation? Actually, it just started raining, huh? Is that why?
So it's been raining. No, it's not hooked up to the water stuff yet, but it will be. So it doesn't contribute to the overall heat. It does affect the foliage, but it's not hooked up to affect the water just yet. So I'm going to start a little mini forest fire. So if I add fire here, you can see that it starts spreading across all the foliage.
Oh my gosh,
and it goes
that is so cool.
Really nuts. It glitched out there. I don't know what happened, but you'll see that it starts as the foliage. It kind of destroys the foliage.
Yeah.
So as the foliage goes away, it starts to destroy it. And I can do that here also. Kind of fun.
And will the rain interfere with it?
No, not yet. So it doesn't do anything with water yet. So it does stop. The water does affect the fire right now, but it doesn't. The fire doesn't affect the rain just yet. So that.
Wait,
yeah.
the water affects the fire though. Like if water rolls over fire, does it put it out?
Yes. Yes, it does.
So the
Yeah.
rain should put it out then, right?
Yeah, yeah. If it creates water on it, yes. Yep.
Oh, cool. Okay. So,
And also,
yeah.
so this is kind of fun. Also, I'd like to add more features to the fire that are more localized effects. But if we start enough of a fire and this guy runs in it, he'll catch on fire and start losing water as well. So he's on fire now.
Sweet.
And
He's a flaming croaker.
yeah,
Is he gonna catch more foliage on fire?
yeah. That's the idea. So the idea is that he'll contribute to the heat around him.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So
you just
if I
got chased by a flaming croaker. That is amazing.
So he
That's really cool.
kind of lost it there, but I can just keep doing this. It's not the most fun way to do it, but it's an interesting side effect of this. So, like I said, what I'd like to do is do like a mana cost thing where wherever the croaker, you could do something like on hit and cause a little explosion that would cause health damage to the croaker, and then also start a fire around it. So I want to have a few more using this, like the atomic actions of being able to burn stuff. I want to start doing more in terms of what you can do with fire. So this isn't the most exciting thing that you can do just yet, but this is probably the most complicated part of fire to make. So now we can start building all the other atomic functions with it, which will be really fun. It's pretty fun to start a fire in here, actually. This one goes nuts if I start a fire over here because there's foliage everywhere.
Oh man, that is epic.
That is a crazy fire.
Yeah, that is an epic fire. And and you can essentially do it again. And foliage grows pretty fast, so you can actually have a relatively constant source of burnable stuff, which I think is kind of cool for a game.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, obviously, if I was getting hurt by this, it would be a lot more interesting to kind of interact with this, because I would have to kind of deal with the fact that I was in the middle of this insane fire.
Right.
But yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
And you're showing that spell earlier with the blue orb that I guess it does the opposite, or it'll put fires out.
Yeah. So here's, it's kind of cool. See if I can get it to work. But if I can find an area like over here, what I can do is I can lay some of these down, and these will keep this area cool. And then what I can do is, while those are cooling that area down, I can start a fire over here, and these will just kind of stop it from spreading this direction. So as long as
that's sweet.
It's not really spreading in that direction. I'm not sure why. There it goes. So it's kind of stopping. Oh well, they died out. But while they were there, they were. So you can
for the brief moment they were there, they're kind of keeping the fire at bay.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that doing that there. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I can already envision some cool mini games or meditations with that, where you sort of have to protect some stuff from fire that's going crazy.
Yeah, and we still need it to hurt things in a little bit more of an interesting way. Like we need a few more atomic actions, powers for the orbs. But this is the most complicated one in terms of a simulation. So now it should be pretty straightforward to add in the other parts of fire. It should be pretty fun. So
Yeah. This is totally random, but did I see a floating island in the distance? It
Yeah,
just surprised me because I didn't think we had those anymore.
yeah. There's not. They're not in the distance, so I don't know why. I just feel like lighting this up here, but
It's
there
addictive.
are there are these guys. Let's see if I can get to one of them.
Whoa! This is new. This is new. You didn't tell me you added floating islands in. You
Oh,
can actually go to that.
Jason added them. He
That's
just he thought there needed to be some floating islands.
that's awesome. That's
Doesn't
really cool.
doesn't look like this one has a collider though. Well,
Oh.
that's that is a bug. You can see the clouds growing as rain is about to start, which is pretty fun.
Wait, but does it must have a collider, right? Because you teleported to it.
Oh, I activated my teleport spell,
Oh, I see. I see.
so I clicked it to activate it. Sure. I don't know. I don't know if these are all. I thought I had fixed that actually.
Wait, and also we're in a cold area too. I don't remember it looking so snowy. This looks amazing. This is really cool.
Yeah, I just accidentally left and I tried to cancel it and screwed it up. Um, so I don't even know where I am. Okay, I'm still in the south. It's cool. So
But what was there snow or was I just seeing things?
yeah, there is. It's not like it's just textured snow. It doesn't have any sort of interaction right now.
I see.
But it's just a prettiness. Um,
So if you light some fires up there, it's not going to melt the snow or anything.
no.
But will it change the heat in the region, and that'll change the textures that go on the ground?
No, so these textures are just up high textures. So I would like to do a thing where it changes the textures. But no, this is just because they're up on mountains. The textures aren't defined by that. Trying to find something. Not sure where I am right now. Kind of got lost. Whoa.
Whoa.
That was crazy. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm working on. It's been kind of been a funky month with gearing up for the beta release. So there hasn't been too much to show. A lot of it has been in the background. I had to optimize a lot of stuff and clean up a lot of stuff as we went to a broader audience. But yeah, things are coming along with Fire stuff, so we'll have some cooler stuff to show for that soon, and we can get that out soon.
Let's wrap up, but before we do, what is next? What do you think the lofty goals are for next month?
Yeah, so I want to continue doing some stuff with Fire, so that'll be part of it. I also would like to start doing some of the meditation stuff so that people can make meditations. We have an intern who's working with us, so the goal is to have him start making meditations. So I want to start with those preliminary tools very soon, so I'll probably switch over from Fire to do that for a couple of days to get him going so that he can work on some more meditations for us. And then then I'll come back to Fire, and the hope is by the end of this month, we kind of want to. I mean, we should have to be in a good spot to release the sandbox in September or mid-September. Then the goal is to have most things at a first pass by the end of this month. So,
awesome.
So meditation creation, and then air magic as well as fire magic. So there's a lot to do this month, but feeling pretty good about it. The nice thing is that we do have like most of the simulations that require the most technical work are done, or at least done to a first pass. Like there's still all sorts of issues with the water that I want to address, but most of the technical issues are solved. Obviously, they're not lit. Like the water isn't lit, and that drives me crazy. But I keep holding off on stuff like that because there's other, like, we'll get to that point hopefully next month where we'll just be iterating on it and be much faster about being able to put out updates and say, like, we've done this portion, like now we want to do something else. Like I want to bring sand back into this into this scene, and that shouldn't be a huge step. But we want to have a first pass of all the systems as soon as possible so that people can play with them and see how they interact with each other, and then we can iterate on that once we have that. So hopefully by the end of this month we'll be pretty close to that, to the first pass of everything, so that we can then start iterating on it. So.
Cool. Well, I just want everyone to know we did do this update live. We are actually streaming live right now. We're not going to take questions because there's nobody in the chat. So I do know we didn't announce that we were doing this on Facebook. We did announce it on our forums, but we usually announce it on Facebook, and we didn't this time. And so maybe people didn't get the message, or maybe they're just busy. Yeah. I'm not sure, but it's not that we do care about doing live updates, and we do care about answering people's questions. Just nobody showed up today, so which is totally fine. We don't hold it against you. We just don't want you to hold it against us. That actually, we want you to know that we do care.
711 has a question actually.
Oh yeah, wait.
So there is, yeah, he's on.
Oh, cool. Someone did show up. Yay!
Well, once he catches up to us in terms of the time-space continuum difference between us and... Okay, I think I stalled long enough. I think we're going to get the question.
For some reason, I can't see the chat. So, but yeah, if you can see the question, go ahead and field it.
Yeah. I will... yeah, so the question was that a lot of users have reported that Blockly is not showing up. I think I fixed that. I haven't heard a lot from people that were having the issue, but we have another person on here also.
Yeah, so maybe there are tons of people online. I can't tell though. I am in the chat now. I can see the chat, but it's telling me no one's here. But yeah. Clearly there are, because I see them. So I don't know what's going on. Whatever. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
But yes, so I think I fixed the Blockly problem, at least for what I could recreate of it on a machine that I had. I do not know if it has been fixed for everyone, because I haven't really heard back from people on the forums about it. So I'm waiting to hear back just from people to see if that worked for them, but at least from what I could recreate of it, it has been fixed. The other thing I forgot to mention is that we got a lot of requests for the Linux version. So we said on the Kickstarter that we would have a Linux version of the game. We never gave an exact timeline on that. The reason being that we didn't know what we would run into, and it actually turns out that there's some issues with Linux. But since people really wanted it, we were able to release a 64-bit version of Linux. I don't know how well that's working. I don't know how much we'll be able to support that right now. At least officially on the early access page and everything, it will not say that it supports Linux, but I'll try to keep my best to spend a little bit of time on that to keep that up to par with the Mac and Linux, but it's going to be hard to keep the Linux version up to date until we are at a more complete state, just because Unity is different on Linux than it is on Mac and Windows. It tends to be fairly consistent across Mac and Windows, so long story short, the Linux, there is a version out. We are going to try to support it somewhat, but we're not going to officially support it yet. We will have a Linux version once the game is completed for sure, and that one will be fully supported. But in terms of tracking bugs and stuff like that for Linux, it'll be a little bit informal and just less. It's on a. It'll be lower priority than Windows and Mac, just because it's hard to switch between the two all the time.
Yeah, and we rely on some technologies that don't work super perfectly on Linux, so it's really tough. You know, it's like the
well, one of the interesting things is there were all sorts of graphical issues, and Unity just released a version of a new version just now, like a week ago, that fixed a lot of those graphical issues. So transitioning to that made it a lot easier to fix some problems that were happening on the Linux version before when I had tried it previously. So part of the thing is, part of the reasoning behind not on waiting before fully supporting Linux is a lot of those things will get fixed as we go along. And some of the issues, like we're using Coherent UI to do the Blockly stuff. Coherent UI itself doesn't support 32-bit Linux, which hopefully they will. I've asked them about it and I haven't heard back. But those are things that we don't have super control over, and it's easier to work on that as a single thing once we're farther along, instead of having to switch between everything for every update. And
cool.
Yeah, I think yeah. So there was, someone mentioned there was a bug on the Linux version where the controls weren't working properly. I'm not sure what's happening with that. I will try to reproduce that, but that is just, I mean, we don't do anything with input. That's purely Unity stuff, so I'm not sure why that would be happening, but we'll look into that at some point. So, yeah.
Well, thank you to the at least 2 people who showed up. Hopefully, everyone who missed it, you'll catch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we'll see everyone next month.
Cool. Yeah, and there'll be some cool stuff next month. It'll be fun. So, cool.
All right.
Bye.